wondering whether I should stand or sit, but I think based on the kind of discussion we're having, and considering that I just ate, standing would be the most, ideal for me at this time. But before I start, I just have one question for all the beautiful women here today. First of all, good evening to you all.
Good evening.
So, the question is, how many versions of yourself did you live at home? Did you edit, even when you got here and you scanned, the people in the waiting area in the restaurant? What parts of yourself did you choose to edit in order to feel like you fit into this role? Anybody? So you're sure all of you have presented your most authentic selves here? Like, wonderful. We'll find out along the way, because that resonates with what I'm here to speak about. I know that so many times when I was much younger, if I had to appear in certain rooms that I felt, were above me, I would always have to, conform, just so I would be able to be worthy of that space. I didn't want to appear too much, not too talkative, not too ambitious, not too loud, not too bold. But in so doing, I realized that I almost lost someone. And today, I'm here to talk about that woman that I almost lost.
Wow. Wow.
Before I start, beautiful ladies and the few gentlemen around us, my name is Prisca Baike, aka the PR Lady UG. If you're blessed enough, once in a while I will pop up on your For You page, speaking very passionately about public relations, a craft that I've practiced for the last 8 years and that I so passionately love. Every waking moment of my life, I owe it to PR. I think that's where I found myself. So I've been working for an agency, the best agency in the country, called Mediate PR Limited, which is based on Kampala Road. That building with KCB Bank. And for the last 8 years, I've been working on the MTN Uganda account. So, and that aside, I'm a mother of 2, and I love to say this out loud. I'm a single mom. I don't say it to get pity, but it is proof that I do much, I show up, and I do it all with grace. So if you want to, do you have any single mothers in here? Wow, nice. You do twice the work, you get twice the love, and you do it all beautifully. So if you have any sisters, any friends that feel like, oh, I don't want to be called a single mom, why would you just say you're a parent? You're doing the work of 2 people. Own it, carry it with grace. I'm not sending you out to be single mothers, please don't be. But if life deals you those cards, you know what we say, God gives his strongest soldiers the hardest battles. I think I was called for that, and I carry it with grace. I've never complained, about having my 2 children and taking care of them alone. So yeah, I'm a single mom. Feel free to introduce me as such. I'll be so happy. I won't have any issues with you. And then that said and done, well, when I was told I was going to be the guest speaker of Becoming Her Life, and I looked at the topic, the final charge, becoming her without apology. And I was like, am I really the right person? That usually comes up because that's the conditioning we all have. You feel like, I'm not yet there. My story is far from over. But then, like the previous speaker mentioned, Prisca Baike, it's in present continuous. It never gets done. Man, our mothers are still becoming. Our grandmothers are still becoming. And even girls younger than us are still becoming. This morning, before coming here, I went to visit my kids in a boarding school. And I told my daughter about this. So she's like, tell me more. I was in a hurry. I was like, I have to go do a lot of things. She's like, Mom, tell me more about becoming alive. So I'm like, it's about embracing your most authentic self, being ambitious, not being apologetic. You don't have to shrink yourself. And she's like, oh yeah, I had to change friends because I had this friend who every time I did better than her, she sulked. So the option was I either, do less, get less marks than her so that she feels better. But then that was not good for me. I just had to find better friends. You put it so well.
Your mates are your inmates.
Exactly. So this is coming from a 12-year-old girl. I was like, okay, if at this age, some of us have been adults for way too long, we might have forgotten that we fought these battles as kids, But what I'm telling you is this is a present continuous tense because there is no day in your life that you'll get to a certain position and feel like I've become and I'm now done. Because God knows just 10 years ago, less than 10 actually, about 8-9 years ago when my marriage fell apart, I had this long list of things that I thought if I achieved, life will be done and I will be seated. But then what happened is, God is a faithful God. All the things were answered, and it's important. Please write down every single thing you wish to become, every single thing you're praying for, and you'll be shocked. I retrieved these books and I was moved to tears. And I had a friend that was going through a difficult moment. When I sent her the screenshots of things I wrote about 4-5 years ago, all of them and beyond I had achieved. But then did I become? I was becoming. So the moment those were achieved, I had to. Naturally, I desired more. And even where I am, I feel like I still need more. It's always the next thing after the other. But the most important thing is do not, lose faith in what you can become or what you can achieve. Based on what I do, I think we can all appreciate that I'm a storyteller. So way before I stumbled into PR, I was a journalist. But again, my story did not start in the newsroom. My story started with me sitting at home and realizing nobody was going to come and hand me a job after university. So one morning, while I was living in a house that I refused to leave to go back to my parents' home, I just got up and walked. I remember I went to Kalero into a supermarket. No adverts, no nothing. It was a Chinese supermarket. I walked in and I'm like, do you have jobs? And I'm like, oh, we have jobs. You can come tomorrow and start. I was like, that easy? Please be expensive. Be pricey. Know what you want. I was like, no, I cannot take this job. I was offered a job. But I was like, no, I cannot take it. Because I expected some bit of, where do you live? Do you have an ID? What can you do? Where are your strengths? So I wasn't okay with that. But that proud girl did not even have transport to go back home. So I took a walk in what I thought was a shortcut, only to find myself lost. Long story short, I think the spirit that called me to leave the house and find a job in a subtle way had spoken to a brother of mine that was looking for someone to employ, and I got my first job in a boutique. From there, I felt, no, I can't be doing this. I worked there for about 6 months, and I was like, I've always wanted to be a journalist, right? We're talking about the woman I almost lost. Yes, so there are many layers to this woman, but slowly by slowly, we'll manage to, go through all the layers. So when I saw that I had a friend working at the Observer, insisted. Like, I need to be the editor of Observer, I can write. Right? But in me wanting to be a journalist, let's note one thing. When I was going to university, my parents told me, you're only doing business courses. If you study journalism, you're no longer our child. So with my degree of economics, I moved into the newsroom.
Wow.
Yes, I had been chased not once, not twice. This time I said I want to speak to the editor. I don't want to speak to the receptionist. She will not understand that I'm a good writer. I am a very good writer. I did well in literature. I did well in English. So if I speak to someone who can identify a skill, they'll give me the job. And I think, let's note that audacity is very important in the journey of becoming. So on that appointed day that I was supposed to call my friend to introduce me to his boss, his phone was off. I kept calling and calling. But then I remembered one thing, he mentioned the name Dr. Sarah. She rest in peace. I walked to Observer with nothing else but knowing I need to see a doctor called Sarah. So my friend's phone was off, he was in the field, he later explained that. But I went up to the reception past working hours because I had to first close the boutique, then go to this place to Observer. When I got there, phoned the receptionist, I didn't tell her what I wanted. I just told her I'm here to see Dr. Who? Do you have an appointment? Yes, ma'am, I did. So when I got there, of course, she was moved by, my audacity. And when I sat down to talk to her, I put on this very brilliant smile, she couldn't reject me. And I told her I wanted to write. So, long story short, my very first assignment in the newsroom got turned into a column. Because I turned in a copy so clean that they wanted me to write more and more. And so without a journalism degree, I'm operating on an economics degree, but I'm doing my best. The money was little, they were paying me 15,000 per story, but I loved it. The first day I saw my name in the paper, it was 19th September. I won't forget, in front of the Makerere University gate, I bought that paper. And I promised myself I'll become, I don't know, the greatest writer that there has ever been. I did become, but I still strive to be. So that was not all. You would think a girl has fought and she's finally got her leg in. Man, it was a tough world. My stories got reassigned to male writers because I realized the only way I could get in there was if I sold something that nobody else was selling. So I convinced Dr. Sarah that in addition to this column, down school lane, I want to be a sports reporter. I've not seen any female sports reporter. Spent days, and I chose a very difficult sport that I didn't know about, but I was becoming. I was like, we'll learn as we move along. I didn't know the first thing about cricket, guys. But I knew I had to get in one way or the other. So they told her I'm going to write cricket. She's like, wow, you understand that game? I was like, yeah, for sure. Because in my head, I know I can learn fast. What is so difficult? People have done this thing. Woke up on Saturday morning, I didn't even know what tournaments existed in cricket. I just went. The grace of God went before me. When I got there, one of the administrators spoke to me. He's like, but you see, you don't have to sit here all day. I'm like, I want to learn. He's like, what do you want to learn? Ask me. And he's like, I'll send you the results at the end of the day. I'll send you the photos and everything. Because it takes a whole day. I was like, no, I'm going to stay here and watch and learn. That we can do later. He was impressed, so he sat by me and kept explaining. First story, came up with another reporter in there. Second story, different reporter. And you know what I did? What we are all told to do. I shrank. I had to be a good girl. If I complain, I'll lose my place. If I go face off this editor, things won't work out. I still need this job. I need to find a way around it. And one thing that I want to say today is that for you to become, you will have to say yes to your voice. I learned that the hard way. It set me back a lot. Just like that, it crushed my dream of being the best sports, female sports writer that I wanted to become. But then, it's always good to pivot. Don't be so stuck, on one direction that when that falls apart, it's over for you. Oh my God, I'm stuck. How do I move on from here? So the best part is I had already gotten in and proven what I could do. Before I knew it, I was now being assigned to do stories that, were good, that were moving the public. For once, my parents were proud. And guess who sponsored me for my master's in journalism? My parents, who insisted, you can't be a journalist. You can't. Oh, you guys, I forgot to mention, when I told my mom I wanted to be a journalist, she sent me a letter of 4 pages, handwritten, 2 photographs. Reason was mass communication, double underlined, is not a course you should think of pursuing. Those women don't have good marriages, they don't, you're so beautiful, people will see you, they'll admire you, I don't want that for you, you need a job that, good girls do and all that. My God, when they kept seeing my stories, they're like, Prisca, I think you need to go back and actually study this course. Have you considered doing a master's? And that's how I ended up going back for my master's. And long story short, today I lead the team that does communication for not just MTN, but the biggest company in the country. And I've done that for the last 7 years. This is my 8th year running. So you have to be relentless in your pursuit for becoming. It's never an easy road, guys. You see, today when I sit down and people are like, hey, Madam Pia, Madam, oh, she works for MTN, she works for an agency, they think I just stumbled into it. No, you have to really put in the work, because that's how you can appreciate it. Because if things come easy, you don't really appreciate them. Please learn to enjoy the journey of becoming. So many times you're going to sit down and look back and realize the best moments in your life were the moments when you were still figuring out how to become, right? So I think going back to our topic, I don't want us to lose that, is the final charge. Let's talk about charge. Tell me about, what do you know about charge? When you think charge, what comes to your mind? When you want to charge your phone, what do you do? Oh. Exactly. And you want to do it urgently. When something needs charging, it's urgent. I've never had anyone who's like, my phone needs charging, but I'll do it tomorrow. Does anybody do that? This is not, that thing is not charged. Our inverters are not charged, but I think we'll do it tomorrow. Charge is urgent. So right now, right here, we are taking charge. We had a very impressive panel. Lots of knowledge, man. I learned so much today. Thank you so much, Rona. I thought I'm somewhere up there at the level of becoming, but when I sat here, I was like, oh, I didn't even touch my phone. Can you imagine? For that whole duration, I didn't want to know where my phone was. There was a lot of knowledge being shared. And beautiful, refined ladies that committed their time. We've been here since when? About 1. It would be a shame for us to walk out of this room and revert to the same women that walked in. Right? So this taking charge is urgent. It's not gentle. It's a now or never kind of energy that you need to embrace. They say you can only mold metal when it's still hot. So we've been fired up, The panel lit a fire in our souls. Can we now mold our souls into the kind of women we want to be when these words are still ringing loud and real in our minds? Yeah? And while we are doing that, we are going to do it without apology. Can you say without apology?
Without apology.
No apology, because this woman is already within you. What you're not reinventing a woman. I don't get out of here and be like, they told us we are becoming. But now what woman do I want to become? But now, no. Think about what you wanted to become when you were 15, when you were 16, before the world became tough. Yeah, before you got heartbreaks. Yeah? Heartbreaks have stopped women's journeys.
Yeah.
But I want to tell you one thing. There is no heartbreak that is worth sacrificing your journey for.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, at this point you think, oh, it's so big, trust me. Those heartbreaks feel like they're so painful. Because you know what? You don't know your purpose yet. But a lady that knows her purpose, a woman that is ingrained in becoming, that keeps raising the bar with each passing year. She knows, I wanted to become this, now I'm becoming this, I'm becoming this. There is so much to become. You realize that certain things take the back burner. I'm not discrediting relationships and whatever they come with, but prioritize yourself. And that will be your number one step in becoming. You're going to have to choose you at all costs. If anybody else feels like, no, if you decide, if you shut your eyes right now and think out loud, if life were to be perfect, if you had it your way, there is a type of woman you want to be, right?
Yeah.
You know exactly how that woman dresses. You know where she lives. You know what car that woman drives. You know what job she does. You know how many children that woman has. What her husband will be like, right? You start picking that woman. Even now, even when it doesn't make sense, aspire to be the closest version you can be of that woman. So you will have to choose you. And when you choose yourself, the second thing you'll have to do is to shed off. That guilt that has been, keeping you playing small. Yeah? That belief, the good girl syndrome. Yeah? Oh, I have to be nice, I have to be polite. You can still be very nice and respectful while being assertive.
Yeah.
And over time, I've learned how to be assertive and still be respectful. And where I work and the people I spend time with know me for being myself. I say it to you as it is, within measure, of course. I mean, at the end of the day, you don't want to, pretend and end up committing to more than you can take on, or leaving yourself behind in interactions that were meant to be beneficial to you. So you will have to shed off all those mindsets, those beliefs that are holding you back. You remember Penina highlighted them so well. And she was talking about the values that we have to, embrace and those that we have to leave behind. And then the third thing will be to step into that kind of woman. What does she do? Okay, now I've chosen her. She's like this. Okay, she dresses like this. But then how do you carry her on? How do you, it's not enough for you to just go and, okay, now I've bought the clothes, I've done this, maybe you've even got the job, but now how do you conduct yourself? How do you continue? Now, what does that woman want to become? Like we said, it's a never-ending journey, but it's a beautiful journey to embark on. It gives you something to look forward to. When you sit down and audit yourself, yeah, you realize that every year there should be a change, and that can only be possible if you are becoming, if you're embracing the journey of becoming. Don't even sit down and think about it so hard. Just make sure each day you do better than you were the previous. And now I want to pose another question. Are we ready for this one? After this one, I want answers. And you're not going to tell me lies. If you had it your way, I just want one lady to paint a picture for us so we can know exactly what we're talking about. If you had it your way, if the world were perfect, what would you be? Tell us what you do now and what you want to do.
Right now, I work at Victoria University as a student talent development specialist. But before I even graduated, I always called myself a CEO. Everyone around me, they used to call me a CEO. So I believe I'm called for leadership, and I'm on the journey of becoming. So if the world was straight, I'll be maybe a CEO of some big organization. Yeah.
So, I believe she has spoken for most of us. Even I have things I would want to be. I mean, I am not exactly where I want to be, but we thank the Lord. Amen?
Amen.
Yeah, so, and then I don't want to lie to you. You know, there is something that always happens when you're trying to change, right? You'll always get a pushback. I want to give you information and not give you a warning. Because you know that information without warning is just a setup. I'll be setting you up, to be caught up in a situation that might be unpleasant. So be prepared for the fact that it's going to be a lonely road, unfortunately. It's going to be quite lonely. In fact, very lonely. You'll get to a point where, you're on your own. People don't understand you. They feel, there is no alignment between you and them. Like Rebecca was, like Rebecca mentioned earlier, several relationships might not withstand this. Some of you, even your workplaces, your bosses, your supervisors, might not be able to withstand the version of you that is becoming. But the one thing I want to tell you is that however lonely it feels, you shall not be alone. And in fact, that space is important for you to be able to meet the true you that you've been hiding. Because right now, with so many people around you, it might be hard for you to actually hear that woman, hear that little girl in you who you're disappointing, who you're almost losing, who is clinging onto you, who knows exactly what you authentically want. So with all the noises of friends, relatives, even your own family, sadly, even your own family might not resonate with the kind of person you become when you decide to eventually choose you, shed the mindset that was keeping you small, and step into your new ambition as the woman that you set out, that you're setting out to become. But the beauty is, at the end of that season, you will have met the authentic you. And probably the one thing that you should be asking yourself, as a woman, every time you feel like she asked, you told us to move, change environment, how do we do it, right?
Yeah.
You're wondering how. It's not about how do you do it. It's, am I aligned to this? That is the question you should be asking. And then all the answers will fall in place. If you're at a job that you don't feel comfortable doing, just ask, am I aligned to this job? Yeah? If there is a space you want to get into, don't ask if you're allowed. Can I try that career? No. Am I aligned to that career? Yeah? You're at crossroads right now. Seek alignment. Seek passion. See, within passion, within alignment, is where your truest version lies. I always tell people, I write English for a living. Right? I write sentences that we're taught to write in top class. That's what I do. And for a very long time, I thought in my mind I had the easiest job. That's what I tell myself every day. Honestly. So, why am I saying passion is important? When you do things that you're passionate about, that you're aligned to, it's easy. It feels like a walk in the park. Yes, of course, there are some issues. Some days you wake up and you're like, oh God, I don't want to go to work, I don't want to do this. But at the end of the day, the work is doable. Yeah, it's seamless. Yeah, there will be a little bit of struggle here and there. And then I always tell myself, yeah, if it were easy. And then I believe they wouldn't be paying me the way they pay me. They knew that these hurdles would be there every now and then. But by and large, the thing that has kept me going is because I chose a career I was passionate about. I ditched my degree. I decided to bury my degree because when I talk to everyone, oh my God, you did economics. Economics is so hard. Economics is this. But then it didn't move me. Every time I thought about economics, I don't know, they sit in banks, they account, they do what. And I was like, this doesn't speak to me. Yeah, I just didn't want to live that life. I didn't see myself there. From I think the age 15, you know that cafes where we all drop sciences. And where you realize being a doctor is not as easy as it sounds. That cafes where you finally accept, you know, there are senior to you, you're still fighting, like I can still be a doctor. Then we move from doctor to lawyer. And then you realize, like somewhere there, engineer. So for me, when the true reality hit was when I decided I'll be a journalist. I will tell stories for a living because it seemed something I was alive to, because I was acing my English papers, I was acing my literature, and to be honest, I've never regretted it. Just your heart of hearts. For instance, just an FYI, I was the kind of kid that read the paper from cover to cover. I knew politicians that I had no business knowing. I grew up reading stories about Norbert Mao. Can you imagine? People might think Norbert Mao is of today. I read about Norbert Mao when I was in P2. He had a very beautiful wife called Naomi. She was always in the papers. That was just, like a bit of novel information to you, the Gen Zs. But yeah, so I really loved comms. It came naturally to me, and it's what I've pursued. Right now, I'm pursuing the PR lady, where I've decided I've practiced now and to inspire younger generations that want to pursue communication and PR. It's a very noble career. It's growing, so you might want to look into that. If talking and writing are your passion, you're good. If you want a day that doesn't look like any other day, no 2 days are the same in our world. So, as I conclude, let's look at what you're going to do in order to become, and with no apology. Number one, I want you to take, to audit, audit yourself. Who is standing in the way of you becoming? You know these people, right? But don't worry, we are going to replace those people. You're not going to just lose them. With time, you will replace these people. But for starters, you have to know who is standing in your way, who is stopping you from choosing you. That person who is always shooting down your ideas, yeah? Because now she wants to be a CEO. And she tells someone, I want to be a CEO. Tomorrow, if you start wearing your suits and turning up to work, yeah? You buy your knockoff Birkin bag and carry it confidently, manifesting that one day that knockoff Birkin bag will be real. And then you have this friend who will meet you and start thinking, she's overdoing. She only earns like 1.5 by the way she's dressing up. No, those people are going to ditch them. Yeah? And then number 2, this is the hardest. How many times do you guys apologize for things you've not done?
Sometimes.
No, especially in spaces where you're supposed to be taken seriously, where you have to show that you're becoming. I'm sorry, they ask you to say something. Oh, so that project we sent you to yesterday, what did you do? Sorry, but... Sorry, but when we went there, the guy was not there. Is it your fault that the guy was not there?
No.
Why are you sorry? Yeah? Sorry, but I'm just saying this. Excuse me. When you're submitting, you're not confident, yeah? You're in a meeting because there are so many bosses. And you know, bosses also know how to take advantage of us. They know we are panicking, so they will call you and be like, you know, Isabella, can you tell us ABCD? You're like, I just wanted to say that I hope that's okay. I hope that helps. No. You see, when you live life like that, you end up being resentful because at the end of the day, people will treat you how you treat yourself. Yeah, how you present yourself is how people meet you exactly at your level of presentation. So you present yourself as a coward, as someone who feels like they're not supposed to be in the room, like you don't belong. Then they'll start treating you like you don't belong. Then they'll understand you're a pushover because you're trying so hard to belong. You say yes to everything. Yeah?
Yeah.
And then before you know it, you're burnt out, you're resentful, you're angry, and you do not, and at the end of the day, that just counteracts your journey of becoming. So what I want us to do is, let's audit the number of times we apologize, especially when we are not wrong. It's just inbuilt in us that as ladies, you say sorry. How many times do you hear men saying sorry?
I'm telling you.
Yeah? So this is about having a leveled ground for all of us. I'm not saying that men are bad because they don't say sorry. I'm just saying, let's stop saying too many sorries. Let's stop playing small, yeah? Because, apology is actually a tax. It's a tax that we pay, for acting small because we believe we are in places that were not good for us. And today, you and I, the women in this room, are done paying that tax because we are becoming women who are unapologetic about who we are. Yes, when we are wrong, we shall apologize and we'll do it with class. But just for existing, excuse me, I'm not opening my statement with I'm sorry, but if someone jumps in while I'm talking, I'm not saying, oh, sorry, you can go ahead. You're going to stand on business and be like, I beg to submit, and I would be, and I would be glad if you let me complete my statement and watch how people start respecting you and actually upholding you. Then the other thing that you're going to do this week, because this is the final charge, it's urgent. Right now, as we leave this place, you are going to try as much as you can, okay, to ensure that you live like the lady that you want to do. How does this lady show up? How does she post on her social media? What does it look like? Because most of us use social media. Does this lady sit in those challenges? Right? Because there is a lady you're becoming, and honestly speaking, you heard what was said earlier, as a man thinks. So your TikTok, your social media presence is a manifestation of what's in your mind. And social media is a very good place to get knowledge. So don't limit yourself to just entertainment, right? Because you're ladies who are becoming.
Yeah.
You can have entertainment in measure, but then also project to the world what you want to attract. We all came here because we want to grow. And part of that is in terms of our career. Tomorrow we are going to become mothers, we are going to become wives, right? So we want to put out an energy into the universe that will give us back exactly what we are putting out. You see, the world operates on energy. What you sow is what you reap. So you cannot be out there carelessly presenting yourself or misrepresenting yourself and expect the universe to pay you in clean copy of a refined, elevated woman. Yeah, of course, when you go to my page, you're going to find all sorts of things. But yes, that's the woman I've decided to be. I've curated myself in such a way. There is a fun side to me. There's a serious side to me. You'll see Prisca that is the mother. You'll see Prisca that is this. And in my opinion, for myself, I believe that kind of balance is what I require for myself. So just like these fingers are not the same in size, length, whatever, I just want you to sit down, think of the kind of woman you want to be, and decide how you're going to show up to the world. And being very comfortable in the fact that if the world decided to pay you back, that's in the same currency, you'd be happy. So, not all work, not all play, find a balance in between. And then, lastly, I know you got worried when I said no, because thanks to Rona, you now have a family. As you're becoming, you have people to fall back to. But if you were becoming on a journey alone, because I'm sure some of us are after this journey somewhere, somehow, because your first step of becoming can't be coming for this. You must have tried and failed, and you're like, finally, there's a workshop, let me go. So now you will find your counsel. Iron sharpens iron. You cannot, be a woman that is on a journey of becoming and then just, carelessly avail yourself, spend time with people who don't align to you. Yeah, like I mentioned, am I aligned? Alignment is going to be so important to you. So you'll find your counsel of women, even men. Men can be very good allies in the journey of becoming, right? If you choose how to deal with them, if you know how to go about it, they should. In fact, in one of the sessions, Rona, I hope we can have, some men represented so that they can support our journey of becoming. They're good allies. Because, at the end of the day, we exist in the same, realities and spaces as them. Thank you. So, so you will get your people, you will find your tribe, and then you will realize that it all makes sense. Everything will fall in its place. Right? So, ladies, by taking charge and becoming her without apology, you're going to take some really bold steps, because the world is not looking for another nice girl. There are so many of those already. The world is looking for a girl that knows her value, that is ready to show the world what she's made of. And that girl is you, everyone in this room. Thank you so much.